Hi everyone, today we're going to be going through the 538 politics forecast, the 2020 forecast, and we're going to be giving my personal 2020 election prediction as well. Pretty much there's been a lot of changes in the race since we last took a look at this. Right now, Joe Biden has only a 69% chance of winning the election. Trump has 31% chance. That might seem that Biden, almost 7 in 10, that's pretty good odds. It really isn't. 3 in 10 odds that still Trump can still easily win the election. It's fair that to say that if the election were held today, Biden would likely win, but there's still a lot of uncertainty in the election. Just briefly, I just wanted to take a look here. In June, Biden was ahead by about 70, or even coming up to almost 80, but then now he's right back, and you can really see it kind of dip back down, and that should be concerning for the Biden campaign. Biden's right now projected to get 317 electoral votes. He was projected to get about 342, and that should be concerning for the Joe Biden camp. Uh, Popular vote right now, Biden, obviously, I think it's pretty much uh, university gets it's universally recognized that Trump is not going to win the popular vote pretty much in this election. So it's really just can Biden win the popular vote and can Biden win the electoral college. So this is probably my favorite map here. It shows all the different states here in a snake line, who's favored, and the line for 270 electoral votes. So right now Wisconsin is pretty much what people say is the deal breaker right now. And right now Biden's got about a 68% chance of winning. That's not surprising considering the national average is about 69%. So uh, we're going to be going through and filling in this 2020 electoral map. Let's start off with the safe states. So let's go Washington, Oregon. Oh, sorry about that. Obviously, Trump's not going to win those states. California, Hawaii, New Mexico, Illinois, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut. Sorry. New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and the District of Columbia. The first district in the state of Maine, I believe that is it. So that's 159 electoral votes in the Biden corner. Now let's go ahead and go through these states, the Trump states, most of Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. Missouri will put as likely. Mississippi will put as likely. Actually, Mississippi we can now put in the safe column. Probably a few days ago, if you'd asked me, Mississippi's likely, but now I'm going to say it's safe. Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana. I'm going to say that goes in the safe column as well. South Carolina's likely. So Trump has 125 electoral votes, Joe Biden with 159. Let me just see if they, let me just see. Yes, that's better. I wanted to show the total amount in terms of not include, so it goes like that. Alright, 125 for Trump, 159 for Joe Biden. Actually, we'll change it back. We can just go to, there we go. Alright, Joe Biden, the likely states, Colorado, you know, the usual suspects. Colorado goes to Joe Biden, Virginia goes to Joe Biden, New Hampshire goes to Joe Biden. We actually haven't got all that many polls out of Virginia, out of New Hampshire recently, but yeah, Maine at large also goes to Biden. So right now, 187 in total for Joe Biden and 125 for Trump. So when you just say 187, 125, excluding the leans. That shows that sort of even if Biden doesn't even get 50% of the swing states, he's still going to win the election. I believe I mean, you can see it here. Biden probably only needs to get between 1/3 and 4/10, which is 2/5 of the, oops, sorry about that, um, of the toss-up electoral votes. So that's not all that difficult for him to get. If we go ahead and take a look at tipping points, they're saying Florida, pretty good chance of being a tipping point. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, Arizona, North Carolina, Ohio, Nevada, Colorado, Georgia, Virginia, and New Hampshire all could be tipping points. So this is pretty much the idea of it right now. This is going a bit crazy. Alright, as for some of the Trump-leaning states, Texas, and that immediately gets him right up there along with Biden. You gotta have Georgia there. I mean, Georgia, some people had said going into 2020, Georgia could be competitive, but right now, it doesn't look all that good for Biden. Yes, he's leading in some of these polls, but this most recent one, Trump +2, and Biden isn't really above 50% in a lot of these polls. So I'm going to say Georgia can go to Biden. Sorry, Georgia can go to Trump. North Carolina, this one's pretty much a toss-up, so we're going to leave that until a bit later. Ohio, going to go to Trump as well. Iowa, also moving to that Trump category. Oh, I'm sorry, New York obviously is a safe Democratic state there as well. Alright, let's go ahead and give some states that lean towards Joe Biden. Nevada, we actually haven't got all that many polls out of Nevada recently, which is a bit disappointing. I want to see Nevada and New Hampshire. Some of these states that people say are going to go to the Democrats since Clinton got them, but I would like some reaffirming data to support that. Nebraska, 2nd District, tilt. So actually we'll move that to lean. There's been some pretty good polls coming out of there for Joe Biden. So if we go to Nebraska 2, yeah, 57%. So there's been some Biden +7, Biden +11. So Biden can win Nebraska 2. If you go ahead and take a look at Minnesota, yes, Trump campaign has targeted it, but we're going to be giving it over to Joe Biden. Polls look good there. Michigan, there was a shock poll that came out of Michigan that showed Biden and Trump very close, but still overall Michigan is pretty favorable to Joe Biden. If you take a look here, 80% chance Biden's going to win Michigan. This was the shock poll, but overall, I mean, it's pretty clear that Biden's doing pretty well in Michigan, mostly on top, over 50%. So, yeah, so Michigan goes to Joe Biden. In the state of Arizona, I've been going back and forth with this one, whether to give it to Trump or Biden. Mostly recently, I've been giving it to Biden. But now, even though 538 says 54-46, I reckon that Trump's gonna come back here. So Biden is leading in a lot of these polls, but there have started to be some Trump polls. The lead seems to be getting smaller. That's at least 538's impression of it. So 54% for Biden. I reckon this one could go very narrowly towards Trump, tilting towards Trump there. I reckon Trump's going to continue this sort of new momentum that he's got. So Trump takes Arizona. Trump, I think, will also take the state of North Carolina, possibly by a larger margin than Arizona. So now Trump at 229 electoral votes closing in there. Same thing in the 2nd District there in Maine, just so you guys can have a quick look. 230 for Trump, 249 for Biden. So out of Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Florida, these are 3 key tipping point states. These could decide the election if you go back and to the national forecast. Here, tipping points. Florida is a top tipping point. Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, these are the top 3 tipping points here that could decide the election. And if you give Trump Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, it's not enough. It's not enough to get Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. If Biden takes Florida, that's it. It's over, right? If Biden takes Florida, it's over. If Biden takes these two, it's over for Trump, all right? This is going to be an uphill battle. Really, what Trump needs is he needs to take Florida and something else. He needs to take Florida, Pennsylvania, or Florida, Wisconsin in order to win. And even then, I don't know if Florida, Wisconsin gets him there. Florida, Wisconsin gets him 269, which I believe would go to the House of Representatives that Trump would probably win, but I'm not exactly sure, so it would really depend. So really what Trump needs to do in order to actually win outright is run the board here. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Florida, he has to win all three of them. Let's take a look at the 538 forecast for each of these states. Wisconsin 68.32. If you look at the projected popular vote, 51.4, 47.6. That could go either way there. And yes, we had another shock poll here. Trump +1 according to Trafalgar Group here. But that is generally considered to be an outlier, and the polls have looked pretty good for Joe Biden. So we'll be moving this narrowly into the Joe Biden column. Moving on to the next state. Tipping points let's go to Pennsylvania next. 70% chance, 538 says Biden will win Pennsylvania. Polls all say Biden's going to win. We're going to move Pennsylvania to the leaning category there. So now Biden is at 279 to Trump's 230, and can Trump get a bit closer? Well, it all comes down to Florida. Can he win Florida? And this is one that I took quite a long time before deciding where I was going to put it. Right now, 538 has it 61.39 for Biden. That's down quite a bit from 67. Before there was like 73. But here's the thing, and this is what really gets at. All of these polls here show Biden's going to win, and that would suggest to me that I would put Biden narrowly in the Florida narrowly in the Biden column. But if you just take a look, Florida governor's race, Andrew Gillum was projected to win. Florida Senate race in 2018, Bill Nelson was projected to win. 2016 presidential race, Hillary Clinton was projected to win. 2014 Florida governor's race, Charlie Crist and Rick Scott were neck and neck. Rick Scott ended up winning that one. Democrats haven't actually won a big statewide race, and that's presidential, Senate, or governor since 2012, and that was Barack Obama. And so, I mean, you can make an argument 2020 is like 2008. I think that argument is kind of waning a bit, and Florida seems to be moving more towards the Republicans, but that's not it. Polls seem to consistently overestimate Democrats in Florida. There was a famous Quinnipiac University poll that showed Andrew Gillum +8 or something right before election day, and then he lost, right? And so this is Biden +3, Biden +4. So this could go either way. Right now, the popular vote is really close, and even though 538 here has Biden's 61% chance of winning, I reckon that Trump is going to see some late momentum. He's starting to sort of build it up a bit now, but I reckon by the end this is going to be 50-50. And I think at the end Trump could very, very narrowly take Florida. But don't get me wrong, Florida could very well go towards Joe Biden. So now if you go and take a look here, 279 for Joe Biden, 259 for Donald Trump. If you take a look here at this map, Trump, all he really needs to do, he needs to hold on to his solid states and his likely states. That shouldn't be too hard to do. He has to hold on to his leaning states, which could be a bit difficult, and then he needs to hold on to these tilt states. He cannot win the election without Florida. And this just shows, even though Trump's got some momentum, Biden's still the favorite. Trump cannot win without Florida. Biden is leading in the polls in Florida, and I think Trump could edge it out in the end. But I mean, Biden definitely has a shot in Florida. Biden definitely could win in Arizona. Trump's not going to win without Arizona, because if he's losing Arizona, he's losing Pennsylvania, and he's losing Wisconsin, and he might be losing North Carolina. He needs to take North Carolina as well. He needs to take a lot of these states where Biden is either ahead of him or 50-50. And Trump, don't get me wrong, Trump definitely can win, but Biden's definitely the favorite. But it's clear to me Trump does have the momentum. He got a convention bump. The Democrats did not get a convention bump. Another thing to take into account here, 56, Trump needs to hold Florida, North Carolina, and Arizona in order to even have a dream of the presidency. And then he has to pick off one of these states. That could be Wisconsin. That would get him to 269. That would probably put him over the edge. If he got Wisconsin and the Nebraska 2nd District, that would be just enough. If he just took one of these states, if he took Minnesota and Nebraska 2nd, that would be enough. If he took Pennsylvania, that would put it to bed. If he took Michigan, that would put it to bed. If he took Nevada and another state, that could work. If he took New Hampshire plus Nevada plus Nebraska too, that could work. So there's a few combinations, but it's clear to me Biden's the favorite, but don't count Trump out, alright? So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Good night.